Hi, welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn a wonderful function that will be useful for us to download data into R. That too with a lightning speed. Yes, I am talking about the function fread in data table. Let us jump in. Before we start, let us understand a brief about the syntax of the function fread. This is the R documentation for data table. In this, we are going through the function called fread. This is the function fread. There are so many multiple options and variations to download the data from flat files into R. From this, I have chosen a few options from this function fread. Let us move to R. From the multiple options given in the fread, I have identified a few set of items which will be useful for us in the day-to-day activities. In the function fread, first we have to give the source file. That too including the path we have to give it here. Second one is separator. It means a delimiter. The system automatically not able to pick the delimiter. We can specify our customized delimiter here. Nrows. It is the number of rows to be imported into R. Header. We can specify whether the source file contains the header or not. Skip. We can skip the top few rows in the source file while importing into R. Select. We can select a set of column names which is required for us to download. Drop. Sometimes we may require to drop a few columns from the source file. We can specify those columns here. colClasses. This will be useful for us to specify the data type of a particular column. Col names. We can also specify the column names while importing the data into R. This will be specifically useful for us when the source data is not available with the headers. Blank lines skip. For example, if the source data is having some blank rows in between, by using this option, we can control them. Now I am starting with a sample database. Now I will start to download the data into R. Please follow me. We have to load the library data table. For that, use the function called library. In brackets, keep the library name. Before that, we have to set the working directory. For the command is set wd. In between, we have to type the source path in which we have stored all our files. Ensure that we are keeping the forward slash instead of the backward slash, especially for Windows. I will explain a little bit about the source data. Let us go to that and open that file in Excel. Here, I have created a sample database with few characters, numerics as well as date. There are around 5000 records in this file, and I have also created some other variations in the file which will be useful for us in our day-to-day activities. In some cases, there may be some records, some content in the top, and the actual record starts in the subsequent lines. And there are some blanks also in between. And in this file, in the 15th row only headers are beginning. And in the last file, there are no headers at all. Only content is there. Now, let us learn how to import all these variations in R by tweaking the options. First, I am trying to import header in the first row itself. The function is fread. In brackets, we have to keep the file path. Since I have already created the working directory here it is enough to give the subsequent path itself. I'll just retype it for you. Dot is equivalent to the source working directory path /. Here I can use the tab key. It will automatically show the files and the content available in the particular path. Tab, and I can select this. So no need to type all the path manually. System supports us to autofill it. To execute this function, we are using the key combination Control plus Enter. Control plus Enter. This will download the header with first row. Now let us see what is available in this particular table. Select this variable and press Control Enter. It will show the output in the console. Serial number, item description, sales executive name, invoice number, net amount, like that. Multiple fields are there. All the fields have been imported properly. Now we go to the second variation. We can choose what is the delimiter. Further, we can use separator is equal to, in quotation marks, you have to put the comma. Now let us see what is available in this. It has been imported properly without any errors. Now third scenario, now I am restricting to load only top 10 rows into R. I don't want to load all the full dump into R. For testing purpose, I want to see what is there inside. For that, I can choose top 10 records. It's loaded only top 10 records from this file. For that, I am using the variation is nrows equals to, I can choose whatever number I require. Next option is, we can choose whether the source file is containing header or not. In the first option, I am selecting is head is true. So it is loaded along with the headers. In the second one, I am intentionally skipping the first row. It means this file is not having headers. For that, what I am doing is I am selecting the header is equal to F. Now let us see what happens. Control enter. The system will automatically assign the column names by V followed by the column number. Let us import the file which contains a top few records or actually a text, and from 14th or 15th records only the actual data will come. Let us open that in the Excel. If we see this file, top few records are not actually content. From 15th row only actual content begins. Now let us see how to import this in R. Change the file name here, header with 15th row. Now without any options, I'll just import the file as it is. Let us see what happens. The column names have been created as V1, V2, V3, V4 like this. In the top few records, the actual text also has been imported. Due to this, our data is not in the structured format. Now I am importing by skipping the top 14 rows in the source file. Now let us see what happens. Now let us see. It has been imported properly along with the column headers. Now let us go back to the original file, header with first row. I want to import a specific fields. I don't want to import all the fields. For that, you can choose what are all the fields you have to import here in this command. Select equals to within C command, small c command. We can choose all the columns what we should be imported. Now let us execute this. It imports only those fields which are selected here. In some scenario, there will be multiple files, and in all files we have to import the similar fields. In those cases, we don't want to enter all these fields but all the files. We can store them in a particular variable like this. Select fields 1. Here I am assigning all these fields into a variable, and this variable has been used while importing the files. Select equals to, I am just assigning this variable. It is same. It has been imported only those fields which are stored in this particular variable. This will be especially useful when we are importing multiple files in the similar format. We are no need to repeat all these field names. If you want to change, it's just enough to change at one place. All the subsequent files will be automatically changed. The another variation, instead of assigning the field names, we can also give the field numbers. In this case, 1, 3, 5, 8, 10. These column fields I want to import. From the source file, I can import only those columns which are lying in this particular position. As we done in the earlier scenario, same thing can be done in this numbering also. We can store these column numbers in a particular variable, and this variable can be used in this while importing the fread. Only those fields will be imported. Now let us see how to drop a few columns. Sometimes what happens, there will be so many columns, we require almost all, but one or two fields we don't want to import them. In those cases, what we will do, instead of select, we can use the option called drop. What are all the fields available in this particular input, those will not be imported. All other fields will be imported. Except these fields, all remaining fields has been imported. Like we did earlier, here also we can store these drop fields into a variable, and the variable can be used in this drop. And here also we can give the column number instead of the column name while dropping. And this also can be stored in a variable, and this variable can be used while dropping. Now let us see how to specify a data type while importing a function, a file in R. In fread, we are assigning the colClasses, and here we have to enter all the data types in a sequential order. If we see this file, I'll just show you the full file, and then let us identify the data type of the each column. First one is the numeric. We have to give all the data types in the quotations. If anything is repeating in the subsequent columns, you can use the function called rep, repetition, and give this character how many times it should be repeated. Give the number here. And from invoice number to commission, we have 4 numeric columns. We can repeat numeric 4 times. After that, 2 characters are there. Repeat character 2 times. And finally, 1 numeric. And here I am downloading the dates into a text instead of date format. I can convert them into date format by using some other functions. So I am entering character here. Now let us see the data types of each column. Use the function str. So it shows each column data structure. Serial number is numeric, description and sales executive are character. Next to 4 items are numeric. Next to 2 are character. And finally number and character. Sometimes what happens, there will be so many columns. By default, they import the correct data type. We have to choose only those columns for which we want to change the data type. In this case, what we can do, we can list down all the columns for which we want to change the data type. Here, we have to load them into a list. Just go to this list character. What are all the columns we have to load as characters? Here I am giving as input 8, 9 and 11 columns we should import them as character. First and fifth columns I want to import them as numeric. All the remaining fields the system will decide how to import them in which data type. Here I am changing to 16. Let us see the structure. The fields I specified are imported as per my requirement. Remaining system has chosen this. The same thing, instead of giving the column number, we can give the column name also directly here. Everything is as per my requirement. Now in this scenario, even though we are specifying only a few fields, but this has been imported in all the columns. Now we can merge the select and call classes in a single command. So we can choose only a few fields and we also assign the data type while in the same command itself. No need to have multiple options here. What we should do is select, instead of choosing only the column names or column numbers, give the data type also in here itself. Character is equal to 8, 9, 11. Numeric is equal to 1 and 5. Now this imports only 1, 5, 8, 9 and 11 columns only while we import. See, only what are all the fields selected here have been imported. Same thing, instead of giving the column number, we can also give the column names. Select equals to list, character is equal to these two columns and numeric is equal to these two columns. Now let us, just these four columns have been imported. Now the next scenario is, in some files there will be a blank lines in between the rows. Now let us see what happens if we don't give any options or conditions. I am importing this file header with 15th row and there are some line breaks in between. Now what I am doing, I am just giving the skip for first 14 rows. Let us import it. It is showing some warning. Let us read what is this. Stopped early on the line 35. Expected 11 fields but found 0. Because there is no data in the particular blank row. It is stopping there itself. To avoid that, what we are doing is, we can fill the data with a blank. For that the command is fill is equal to true. First let us open this file in Excel. First 14 rows are not records. In 31st I am just giving a dot and in 35th it is a blank. Now let us also open this file in a notepad. Let us see what exactly is there inside. Open with the notepad. Remove the word wrap. See, wherever dot is there, it is having all the columns with the blanks, with the null values. But in this row, there is no blank records or commas also. It's a pure blank record. Now what we are going to do is, we are filling this row with the null values. Here I am giving the option called fill is equal to true. Let us see what happens. Here the in between rows I am not able to view. For that I am using the function called view. V is caps here. Remaining are small cases. View, we have to give the table name inside. It will open in a separate window. Now let us see. This is a dot record and this is a blank record. So it is trying to import by filling the data with a blank or null cases. We go to another scenario. We don't want to load the blank records itself. For that what we can do is blank dot lines dot skip is equal to true we can do. Now let us see what happens. This dot has been imported but the complete blank row has been ignored. Now let us see. Blank lines skip is equal to false. For the time being I am just ignoring this option. It will shows again the same error or warning. To avoid that what we are doing is fill equals to true. Here what I have done, I didn't give the input skip is equal to 14. So due to that it is showing all the top rows also. Now let us re-import by mentioning this option. Skip equals to 14. Now it has been imported properly. We have learnt how to import a CSV or a delimited file or a flat file into R by using the function called fread. I will be sharing the sample files with you in the description. Kindly download them and please do the practice. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more valuable content.